6:16 right now on DUMA Fm, more talk, more music. Good evening and welcome to the midweek dose of inspiration for the restoration of our beloved nation with the golden voice of Rector Majani on Character Matters Show. Thanks to all my colleagues who were busy promoting the show since morning till this very hour. And guess what? The Toots and the Maytals actually welcoming us with that lovely piece. That lovely music entitled Peace, Perfect Peace, and of course that's what we are about. In the studio today I am joined by this gentleman. I could be giving him a number of badges, but we are going to be conservative today. He's amazing. He's amazing. He's let me just term him a financial guru, training wise, and that's what he does out there. But he is big on volunteer work, and he's here because here we are discussing the issue of character building, character nurturing. Are we really conscious about it? Are we doing what we ought to be doing there? And because he's so involved, and he has been involved in that regard, touching the lives of so many young people, it's amazing. Not because he's employed by anyone to do that. It's called volunteer work. That's the work of love. Someone put it this way. They said sharing is caring and caring is loving. And I think we've got a lover of people right here. Mr. Dumba, welcome to Character Matters Show.
Thank you very much. That is such a generous introduction. I am overwhelmed and I'm honored, and it's a privilege to be here.
Yeah.
And I don't take it lightly. So once again, thank you for having me on the show.
Fantastic. And just a matter of introduction, someone might hear your voice later and say, do I know him? All your names, and sometimes names have got stories behind, by the way. Someone is named so and so because there was ABC. Who exactly is Mr. Dumba and where does he come from?
Awesome. So I always tell people that I can't run away from where I come from because of my name. It's as Shona as it gets. Anesu Dumba. A lot of people say Dumba. It's actually Dumba. Dumba, yeah.
Right.
That's how you say it. And originally Zimbabwean, but my family and we moved here in 1992. So we've been here 31 years. Mm-hmm. I came at 18 months. So now
yes.
I'm a Motswana.
Wonderful, amazing.
I'm actually a citizen of the country now.
Yeah.
And I love this place, and I've been contributing, and I look forward to more contributions.
People say, I haven't just come here to fill up space. I haven't come here to steal other people's oxygen, but I'm here because there's a seed that I've brought with me and I need to plant it. And when I'm gone, people will say, oh, yeah, that one, because you would have left something here. And some term it life purpose. What would you say your life purpose is, Anesu?
Oh, my life purpose is to serve others. I would make it that simple. And others is such a broad term. I mean, charity begins at home. Mm-hmm. So are you managing to serve your family? That's a question I ask myself. Mm-hmm. Are you managing to serve your close friends? Are you managing to serve your colleagues? Mm-hmm. And service can be some of the most smallest gestures, like being polite and being considerate and being attentive, to some of the bigger gestures of being a person who's available when in times of need. You can label me the nice guy, it's fine. I know it's unpopular. And they do say nice guys finish last. But I'm a nice guy with wisdom.
Right.
If I can say.
Amazing.
Oh my God, people are going to tease me for saying that on radio.
Well, if we don't say it, who will say it for us?
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. Like you say, charity begins at home.
Yeah.
And sometimes we become so selfie that we don't remember where we are coming from.
Absolutely.
Sitting here, obviously, you didn't just drop from another planet. You were raised by a family. Would you like to name one or two people who deposited some character traits in you when you were pretty young that you look back and say, yeah, from my family, my relatives, at least one or two representing the others, did something significant in molding your character?
Well, I'm going to mention my late mom. It's going to be very, very easy. So unfortunately, she succumbed to breast cancer in November 2020. But a lot of who I am and a lot of how I approach people, I will say I get from my mom. One of my early teachers actually became a family friend of ours long term, even till today. And that came about because my mom just had a habit of inviting people over for dinner. To say, let's get in touch, let's connect, let's come over for dinner. So she didn't realize that I was observing that. And next thing, people were coming to her and say, your son invited me to come over for dinner.
Right.
And she took it seriously, this teacher of mine, anti-Pacific. That's who she is to us now.
Yeah.
And she's been a long time friend. And yeah, just in a nutshell, I will mention my mom, that my character and a lot of what is good and what I would say is honorable.
Yeah.
I've gotten quite a lot from her.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And we have another set of parents, if you like, and we call them teachers.
Yes.
I mean, just imagine how many hours as young people we spend under the watch of those guys, the teachers. I have a soft spot for them. And I always repeat it. I'm probably boring other people now, saying if it were according to me, they will be the most, the highest paid, because I think
Absolutely.
all of us have come through them. Just reflecting back on your education, you schooled here.
Yes, I did.
Fantastic.
From daycare till postgrad.
Right. Just in 3 categories.
Yeah.
Primary, you can pick a teacher who represents the other ones. If you went through junior secondary, the one who represents the other teachers, and senior secondary. And it just as a token of appreciating them.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I will say as a disclaimer, please, if I don't mention you, it didn't mean I didn't appreciate you.
Not at all.
But there's 3 in the 3 stages that did leave quite a big impression on me.
Yeah.
In primary school, I will mention Masi Chinga. Masi Chinga was very, very special to my heart, and she took me like her own child. Where I don't know if beatings are allowed now, but her beatings were with love.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could feel it that, I've been beaten, but this woman loves me.
Yeah.
you know, especially later. So in secondary school, hands down, Gregory Joloza Craig Dube, Mr. Dube.
Yeah.
If you're listening, you've left quite an impression on me. He doubled as my teacher and my rugby coach as well.
Yeah.
So I really looked up. I look up to him still. He's a good man, has good character, gives good advice, and he's just a very sound person. And one of the only few teachers from high school I still keep in touch with. Yeah. So him for sure. Doctor, I almost forgot to put that because she became a doctor after I left.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Mangadi. Oh, she was great at teaching economics, and she is still somebody that we do keep in touch even till today.
Yeah.
So she left quite an impression on me, and there's a principle that she taught in economics, that still rings true till today. And even though it's an economic principle, it's a life principle. It's the diminishing returns.
Okay.
And I love the illustration she gave. She talked about Coke. If you grow up not knowing Coke and you look up to drinking Coke one day, no matter how many Cokes you can have, they will not satisfy. And that's how it is. And I feel like that's sometimes how life is.
Yeah.
You look up to something that's going to make me happy. That's going to fulfill me. And the more you have it, the more utility, the less utility, the less satisfaction you get from it. That's economics.
Yep.
But it's life.
Amazing.
Never forgot that.
Yeah. No, it's quite interesting. I go back to your first teacher,
Yes.
who beat you with love.
Yeah.
I actually had a pastor who said, I beat my children. After that, and having told them why I am beating them, I actually give them a hug.
Wow.
Yeah, and tell them, I love you.
Yeah.
So the beating does not mean I don't love you.
Yes.
It just means we are correcting something there.
That's it. Some nonsense.
So it's discipline is something that is very important, and one wonders whether we still pay attention to it as much as we should be.
Absolutely.
My brother, we all go through a stage where we are labeled teenagers. And for a number of guardians or parents, it's a nightmare to live with a teenager. And the teenagers themselves is like, okay, who am I? Kind of a thing. And I have a friend who says it's like the mind leaves the body, and the parents are praying that when it finds the body, it will still be in shape.
Right.
What did you battle with as a teenager, and maybe one or two lessons that you learned from that period?
What did I battle with as a teenager? Hey, where do I start the list? Obviously, on a biological and hormonal level, lust.
Yeah.
My goodness. I mean, there's a time where you really see what a woman looks like. They're not like your peers anymore, and the discipline that has to come with that listen, this is a human instinct, right?
Yeah.
We are here, all of us, because somebody gave birth to us. And the attraction that led to the two people coming together and things like that, it's just something that needs to be contained in safety. So lust was a big issue, but the discipline that came, especially with Christian teachings, is something that really assisted me.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that perhaps you could say was a hidden one, because you can look at my track record and you can look around and nobody will really say that Anesu has a body trail of so many women, or he has been chasing women left, right, and center. But if you're going to be honest and realize that just because you're disciplined with it doesn't mean you didn't struggle with it.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big one for me. I was one of the more boring kids. I wish I could tell you something more interesting, like I did cocaine and and alcohol. Not that that's interesting, but
yeah. Right now there is a teenager listening to you.
Yes.
Who is probably going through that stormy period. There's a guardian. Some of them, they have children who go to boarding schools, and when those children are home, it's like, when are schools opening so they can go? Like they are not their own children. What's a word of advice to a teenager listening to you now, who is probably going through that kind of confusion, and the excuse is peer pressure kind of a thing? And what's your advice to a guardian who is probably confused, not knowing what to do with this teenager?
Okay, so to the teenager, I would say that your best bet in life is to surround yourself with wise people and good company. And unfortunately, the family that we are given is not the family that we've chosen. Like, that's the family that you've been born into. And more or less, sometimes they are a good place to start. But I'm not going to assume everybody's family situation is ideal. So especially if your family situation is not ideal, have talks, communicate, surround yourself with wise people, because that will be of very, very, very good value, very good benefit going forward in avoiding a lot of disasters in the past, in the path that you're on. And to the guardian of such a teenager, I'd say don't panic, because teenagers can smell panic. They can smell fear.
Right.
And I think it's a human instinct to observe somebody that's afraid or somebody that's fearful and lose respect for them.
Yeah.
As bad as that sounds. So it's like your voice becomes less of a strong authoritarian voice, and it becomes like, mom is always worrying, or dad is always worrying. So to the guardian, I know your worries and your fears and your anxiety is real, because this is a soul and a human being that you're caring for. But ideally, please do not worry, and seek advice that can help this person. As unconventional as it could be, do follow it. I think it will go a long way.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I think that's really fundamental. That's right. So don't run away from them. Don't avoid them.
No.
Yeah.
Come closer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That relationship.
Without fear.
Without fear.
Yes.
Excellent. I love that. In case you just joined us, I'm actually with the founder of Pakalani Bible Study. He's Anesu
Dumba.
Now
done.
I have to be
Well done.
careful.
Well done.
Thank you. Right. He's here actually sharing some words of wisdom because he's someone who chose, out of his own accord to say, you know what, let me interact with the young people. Let me see what I can deposit on them or how I can guide them so that their character becomes the character that we want as a nation. It starts with individuals, it gets to a society, it gets to the whole nation. We're going to take a short breather, and when we get back, we'll get some more words of wisdom from this gentleman who is doing amazing work with our children. So don't go away.
The views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the station, its management, nor its advertisers.
6:34 right now on DUMA Fm, more talk, more music. Welcome back, dear listener. The program is Character Matters, and of course, character does matter, and this is the platform where we discuss character issues or character matters, if you like. So the name is like a coin, you can look at it or see it from two different sides. And character is something that we are concerned about because we believe it is actually the foundation of a person. You can have all the stars in terms of academic wise, you can go so much, up there. You could be talented, you could be an orator, you could be, gifted in whatever. But if the character is not there, we will be saying, hey, we wish we could be celebrating that person, but they're not there. And the whole thing would be because character. Just like a building, if the foundation of the building is not right, it doesn't matter how beautiful it looks. Outside and inside, it's a matter of time, it's going to crumble. So we don't want our people to crumble, and that's the responsibility of this show. We are sharing this dose of inspiration so that you take responsibility for the quality of your life, you take responsibility for the quality of your children, you take responsibility for the quality of your neighborhood. Hey, who knows? Your child is going to bring somebody and say, this is going to be my life partner. So if you are not taking good care of the neighborhood, they're probably going to bring a delinquent into your house. My brother Anesu,
Wow.
Here we are. You are actually the founder of Pakalani Bible Study.
Yes.
Well, for you to have founded it, you must have been motivated by something. Would you like to give us just a little background as to what motivated you to come up with that?
Well, right from the beginning, I'm going to start and say I say founder very lightly or very carefully, because I have always loved working with people. So I didn't wake up myself and say, I'm going to start this myself. We had some peers what we were going to the same church with at the time. And at the time it was encouraged that let young people start meeting together and discussing together. Because this thing of just listening to one person on a Sunday from the pulpit is great, but you have questions, don't you? You have struggles, don't you? You want to carry each other's burdens, you want to help each other, you want to support each other. So start some groups. And that was more or less the inspiration. We're like, okay, this sounds like a good thing. Yeah. And as somebody that lived in Pakalani, we felt like, I'm not going to drive or catch a combi all the way to town for the groups that are happening in Gaborone. If there's any group that needs to work, it's the Pakalani group.
Right.
Because we are all 5 minutes away from each other, so we have to make this work because we are not about to, struggle. It's just that we're older now and we may have the resources to say, the best group for me, and sometimes that's worth it, The best group for me is 20, 30, 45 minutes away from my house.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the initiative. But because of our circumstances, we thought, we're young, we're students, let's make our group work because we can't be traveling to go to other groups.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much more or less where it started. Just a bunch of friends, peers from church to say, let's support each other, let's pray for each other, let's grow together, even in the Christian teachings.
Yeah. The start of anything can have its own challenges and the like.
Correct.
Someone may have entertained that idea of, I'd like to gather up with some other guys, who I think we have a common interest and we can start doing something together. You hear of so many unfunctional groups. There was an idea, they started, it didn't work out, and they disbanded. How did you manage to hang on until now? your own experience in starting that group and probably maintaining it and keeping it going. You started around 2010, is it?
2010, yeah. Correct. Well, it would be a mistake for me to assume that it was all within my strength or all within our strength. I'm going to outrightly say that it's the grace of God that we've gone as far as we've gone.
Yeah.
But some of the intentional things that we did is basically we treated Bible study like a plant. A plant needs consistent sunlight, needs consistent water. It needs monitoring of the appropriate fertilizers, the pruning, the everything. That you need to be intentional about making sure that this plant lives and grows. And that's exactly what we did. We said, let's meet at the same time every day of the week. I mean, that particular day of the week. So I think we started on Wednesdays actually, and then we moved to Tuesdays. Be consistent with the day. Be consistent with the time. Be consistent with the program. Be consistent with intentionally trying to make it better. So even with the times that have moved now, we've actually taken the opportunity to say, okay, we've been meeting for 13 years in such a way. Why don't we also be intentional about how we can also invite other people? Because that's the other thing that I don't really appreciate in Christianity, and that's a club mentality. That this is for us, this is our clique, and we are the cool ones and you aren't. We are always inviting people to come.
All right.
To say, come join this group. Let's hear from you. Let's support you, because that's what we're here to do. Support each other in the Christian walk. So that's more or less about it. Is what I would say has been our success. First and foremostly, the grace of God, but secondly, consistency in being intentional about making it work.
Yeah. You know, young people are people who easily get bored.
Yeah.
Especially if things are just the same all the time.
Yeah.
How have you kept the dynamism of it, if that is the right term, such that they look forward to saying, hey, I don't want to miss that. I mean, I know a young man, he's now in Joining, I know that.
Yes.
And when he drops in here without fail, he will say, Tuesday, I want to go to Pakalani.
Wow.
And I know he's from far with that.
Yeah.
What spices do you have there that actually, because some people say, Bible study, so it means we're going to sit there and we're just reading scriptures, and, you know.
Yeah.
So what's the dynamism, or what are the spices that you have there which keep people saying, you know what, I'm looking forward to the next Tuesday?
Right. So I would say one of the biggest ones is actually one that is harnessed from what's already available. And that's the diversity of ideas and the diversity of people that are in the room. Because we insist that on Sunday at church, we are listening to one person or a couple of people, and we go home, almost like the cinema.
Right.
But at Bible study, we try and limit that. If you're going to put a discussion on the table, don't talk for more than 10 minutes. Don't talk for more than 5 minutes, because what? We want to discuss. This prayer that a lot of us prayed, even if we were not Christians, because our schools were forcing us to pray it. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us.
Yeah.
That scripture and that prayer is different when you're 8, 18, 28, 38. It means so many different things at that time.
Right.
Your grasp, your appreciation, your integrity in applying that scripture is very different at the different stages of life.
Yeah.
And for us who have had the benefit of meeting together for the last 13 years, we've matured in terms of those things.
Yeah.
So that's one of the spices that we sit there and we say, guys, we're talking about forgiveness. What is it in your context? What does the scripture say? One. Number two, let's be real. Let's be practical. Is this easy to apply? How do you forgive somebody that has done this, this, and that? And does forgiving mean this, this, and that? And then you all of a sudden have 7, 8, 9 people who will give some very diverse and very wise and very rich, knowledgeable contributions to the discussion. And you come out of that place equipped.
Right.
So by nature, it's already spicy. It's already interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's not about what is Anesu going to say this Tuesday. This is probably why Bible study has been one of the easiest things to lead, because all you have to do is put people in a room, put an idea on the table, and see the fireworks start sparking.
Amazing.
So that's one, that's first and foremost. And then obviously we do get intentional about, okay, once in a while, once a month, or twice in a month, let's get an expert, or let's get somebody older. We love hearing from the grey people.
Yeah.
The older folk.
Wisdom.
We say, okay, once in a while, let's get them in and say, okay, what's your take on this? Or what's your opinion on this? It can be a pastor, it can be an accountant, it can be fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Just somebody who's in line with our principles and somebody who understands the code in which we live. And that is also why we call it Pakalani Bible Study.
Right.
We are not cramming the Bible. If we will not win Bible trivia, I'll tell you now. Except maybe Tsemolo Monte. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
He is a sponge that does not lose water. He is a sponge, like he can literally absorb all information.
Right.
So he will win a Bible trivia. But that's not the point of Bible study.
Yeah.
We just call it Bible study just so that we say our discussions, our advice, our encouragement, our support is guided by Christian teachings.
All right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I can see someone already wants to interact with us. Let's just get one or two people. DUMA FM, hello? DUMA FM? DUMA FM? Oh, they're gone.
Oh, we lost them.
Yeah, we lost them. Yeah, that's quite interesting because it means there is life there.
Yes.
And you can't predict what you are going to learn this time around.
Absolutely.
And there's also relevance.
Yes.
I mean, if you're saying you are allowing different people to come up with whatever, I can imagine these are real people trying to relate the scripture to their real life.
Yes.
And maybe being relevant.
And that's it. I think that's the difference. That's the difference that's missing in our society. Because sometimes you will be able to regurgitate the whole Bible and practice none of it.
Right.
You will be able to recite so many scriptures and lord it over us and actually show off that you don't know the scripture, but it's like your knowledge is not being married to application. And when knowledge is married to application, you can actually contribute to discussions and say, I mean, this scripture isn't as easy as it is to apply, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, currently what a lot of us are actually being honest about is, I actually disagree. I disagree with this. I'm a Christian and I will not renounce the Lord, but I disagree with this. But our relationship with God is that He is a king.
Yeah.
And you can disagree with the king, but the law is the law.
Yeah. True that. True that.
That's how we conclude.
Yeah.
But it's good to be able to just share with people.
Yeah.
To say, guys, I love God, I love Jesus, and I want to live my life in a principled way according to His teachings. But this thing I've read in the Bible, I don't know about it,
Yeah.
But He's the king. But I just needed to be honest with someone.
I need to submit.
Yes.
Tell you what, I believe in testimonies. I hold them in high regard. You probably have seen transformations of people coming in and later on. I mean, you've been there quite a while now. Would you like to share one or two, of some of those that just struck you and you probably drop on your bed, beam with a smile and say, you know what, I'm glad we started this thing and we are doing it?
Oh yeah. Whew. I'm big on confidentiality.
Yeah, no names, no names. It's just giving an appreciation and an idea of some of the transformations that you have witnessed, because that's what we are about when we're talking character molding, character whatever. Are we talking real things here, or are we just being abstract? Are we going over people's heads? So you are on the ground, so you have probably seen people, and maybe that's what has actually kept you going, to say, actually there's fruit out of this. So we don't have to mention names.
Absolutely.
But we can just share one or two just to show us how effective it is to actually meet up with other people. Because some people, I tell you, they got annoyed in the church and they decide, I'm going to stay in my house, I'll read my Bible alone there. But for you decided, you know what, the more we are, and the more we listen from others, it
Yes.
actually nurtures us and helps us to grow. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, absolutely. I have observed quite a number of people, though,
Yeah.
who have, and these are people I went to school with, some of them. They mocked me.
Yeah.
I would invite them for anything that resembles Christianity, and I would get a proverbial beating in terms of mocking.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But because I like good banter, and I just took it on the chin.
Yeah.
And I still love them. I'll just leave it. But what I love is a lot of them would come back to me
Yeah.
and even join the Bible study and say, listen, man, I used to make fun of you, but what you were saying
Yeah.
was like a seed, and it's grown, and that's why I'm here.
Great stuff.
And that's why I'm here. So I love the fact that they had a place to go.
Right.
And that's maybe an encouragement I would give to anyone who's listening out there, that just because you've shared some encouragement with someone, perhaps along this journey to improve character, to improve quality of life, to improve healthy relationships, to improve spirituality. Just because you've done that and they haven't responded,
Yeah.
don't give up.
All right.
Don't give up.
Right. Oh, someone has just gone. I think we need to give people an opportunity. Feel free, dear listener, to call in and share with us your ideas or interact with our guest today, because this program is ours. We don't know everything from the studio. We learn from each other, we feed each other, and there are so many people who are listening there for words of wisdom, and you may be having something that you want to share. So feel free to actually call us and share with us your words of wisdom, or interact, or even ask a question, because the gentleman who is sharing with us here, he is practical, he's on the ground. And now talking about having been there since 2010.
Yes, sir.
You have alumni, I think that's the term that's used, and they have gone different places as we are. So in other words, you are not limited to Pakalani.
Yes, sir.
You have actually gone beyond Pakalani from the fruits that started there. Share with us some of those.
Yeah, that's another thing that I love about the group, because it's a dynamic group of young people. Something like this doesn't stay quiet. Ultimately, people will hear about it and they all come.
Yeah.
And what I enjoy about that is we've had people that have even come on short-term, let's say, exchange programs, you know, from around the world.
Yeah.
I'm talking the United States, I'm talking the UK, I'm talking Germany, I'm talking Australia, or even all over Africa. And they still keep in touch
Right.
with our group. So I'd call that more or less some of the alumni or alumnus
Yeah.
from all over the place. And I think that's another thing that I've cherished about this group that we've started.
Yeah.
That it's bigger than what we can imagine. Because even the precious time that you have with any human being is a privilege, as far as I'm concerned. Because you don't own people. I mean, even in accounting, they don't call employees an asset, because people can't be controlled.
Yeah.
And the definition, according to the international financial standards, is that an asset must be controllable. They cannot designate an employee as an asset.
Right.
Because of that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We got someone who is calling here. DUMA FM, hello? DUMA FM? Dumela mme. O mo phehong mme? Ehema. Emma, ka moso o letse mo 3500 3500 131. Emma batla go araba. Emma ba go utlwa mme ne ke go hamagala hela ke tla be ke sena le bone mama le ka hela 3500 130 131 Emma
Oh, airtime heady.
Yeah, airtime heady. Sorry about that. But I hope she got it.
Yeah.
And dear listener, we are on air, and this is your program, Character Matters, and we do have the founder of Phakalane Bible Study sharing with us his experiences and words of wisdom, and as far as interacting with young people is concerned, and making this life relevant to them. And here we are. I also realized that you are a gifted musician. And you have not kept it to yourself. You have actually gone out there, and I've had the privilege of actually watching you mentoring. And tell us about it, because they say a leader is an influencer.
Wow.
Your experience in the music world?
Wow, I took to music like a fish to water. I remember from as early as 3 or 4 years old, and I'm being told this by my family, that if any child got a musical instrument as a birthday present and I was at that party, it's going to be a disaster, because I would cry tears. So I think my soul from jump loved music. So I am self-taught, but obviously that's not a legitimate thing, but that's what we say.
Yeah.
But I had so many people teach me, and when I say I'm self-taught, I didn't go to school for music. And all the music that I learned in the church. And as a result, and I think that's perhaps where my capacity and my love for people has also grown, because music is such a group effort. Not too many musicians go far playing by themselves.
Yeah.
So being around people at rehearsals and going all over the place. By God's grace, I've been to Kenya for music. I've been to South Africa for music. I've been all over Botswana for music. And all those interactions just grew my capacity and my love for people. But yeah, that's more or less my journey.
Yeah.
Raised in the church, taught in the church, and music is music. Yeah.
A multi-talented gentleman. Share with us some of the instruments. I know you're not going to say I play all of them, but some of the instruments that you do play, and I know you've also mentored other people in those.
Yes. Yeah. I do play the piano. I play the bass guitar. I play the electric guitar, and I play the bass guitar, the drums. I mentioned the bass twice. Sorry.
Yeah.
I play the drums as well. And yeah, there was a time I was actually even giving out lessons. It's just that I'm in full-time in accounting and audit, and it's quite a tough industry.
It's demanding.
And I really, as much as I'd love to, I don't have room to give lessons anymore.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I play and have been involved in the music space.
Excellent. And someone is probably sitting there and saying, you know what, this is quite interesting, and they're probably in Phakalane, by the way, and they're saying, maybe one needs to find where these guys are so that I could be with them. Someone might be out there in Kasani, in Francistown, in Khanzi, and they're saying, I would like to link up with this gentleman. Maybe they can help me with ideas from their own experience, because I have a desire to interact with people and also lead them in such a manner that we can grow together like he has done. Where would they reach out to you?
Well, my number is on the poster that we were circulating on DUMA FM, and I'll just say it on the air just in case you didn't see it. Otherwise, if you are active on social media, we are on TikTok, Phakalane Bible Study. If you inbox in there, I'll find it.
Right.
We are on Instagram, Phakalane Bible Study. If you inbox, I'll find it. We're on Facebook, and quite recently we've joined YouTube, even though there's no YouTube inbox as far as I know. And what we're doing now is we're actually posting clips of our discussions, because we thought, what better way to reach out? Let's put clips of our discussions. Actually, the leading of the discussion first, because once again, confidentiality, and I just give the opportunity for the person who's leading the discussion to say, okay, at least you are happy to have people hear this, and then we stop it right there, and then when other people are contributing, we turn off the microphone, just so that it's authentic and people are free, and they know that they're not saying this for the airwaves. But yeah, do listen to some of our clips that are available on social media, and do inbox us if you want to get in touch with us, or reach me directly with my cell phone number.
Brother Anesu, thank you so much for taking time to be with us here. Unfortunately, time is not on our side, but this has been valuable insight, information, and I believe you have raised an appetite out there, and I look forward to hearing more testimonies, maybe from people who have actually gone through what you have shared.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be here. I don't take it for granted. Thank you, and God bless you.
Dear listener, this is how we come to the end of this particular episode. Until we meet again, remember the saying that goes, the quality of your life is directly related to the quality of your thoughts. So watch what you listen to, who you associate with, what it is that you read, because all those are actually programming your mind. So the quality of your life will tell us. Until we meet again next week, lovingly, Recton Majani signing out.
The views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the station, its management, nor its advertisers.